You have to understand what World War III is all about. Every single thing that connects us is the internet now. We had this big, massive fear of 2000, just the date changing in 2000, and you have to understand why that was a problem, because all dates only went up to 1999, and well, actually, what they did is all computer software programs only went from 99, the year 99. When computer systems were all first designed, they didn't anticipate the year 2000, where you actually had, what do you start from? 00 is the date. If they went with just 00, that would have solved all the problems. It's like, why do you have to have 2000? But then it would have conflicted with 1900 and 2000, which most of those people are dead. Like, if you were born in 1901, and we actually used the current software programs, and it was 2001, but you just used those last dates, we wouldn't have known whether you were, born in 1901 or 2001. So you would either be either young or really old, depending on if you're still alive or not, because that would mean that you'd have to be 100 years old. So that was the problem with the year 2000, and it was the potential to crash the whole friggin' globe, because every way we do business, every way we do politics, every way everything is sustained now is entangled up with the internet. So when you want to see that they want to control the internet or shut the internet down, that means they want to shut down the whole friggin' globe. Every way that we communicate, do business, everything has now been attached to the internet. And how did that start? The military, the most evil, corrupt forces going, started this. And then it went to university. If you want to know how to get stupid, go take an education course. Even though my daughter is going back to school, my kids are going back to school. There is good information in schools, but it's just they don't teach you how to think. And at least my kids, I've taught them how to think for themselves, and that school and education is designed for you to tunnel vision into what the corporate world wants you to believe in. So my kids know how to communicate, and they will challenge information that's being said in any school. So I think they'll do really well in school because they know how to talk, know how to think for themselves. They know the difference between right and wrong. They've had way too much of an education living with me because I'm into all sciences, I'm into all systems, all medical education. For kids, how can you not know how the education system works, especially when it's really corrupt? You abuse my kid in school, you teach me how your system works. And you definitely abused my kid at school, left bruises. Teachers have left bruises on my child. And then when I tried to report that, the school system sent out a letter to everybody in the school district, not just the town I lived in, but all of the surrounding areas that people go to. The education system actually sent personal letters telling every parent that my accusations that a teacher was abusive was a lie. And that only brought up a lot of other parents that are experiencing abuse came out, because they were like, which abuser are we talking about? Because there was more than one abusive teacher. But they harassed me so much I had to move out of that town. I had to pull my kids out of school, had to do homeschooling. So kind of know a little bit about our education system, and that's really, really screwed up. And I think at the same time, my kids learned an awful lot from that experience. So I don't know where I was going with this one, but okay, the cyber war. Since everything is totally attached to the internet, you don't need a gun to bring down a country. You don't need weapons of mass destruction. All you need is control of the internet. And right now we've been abiding by laws as best as possible, but now with the arrest of Julian Assange, based on no charges, no evidence, nothing. He's not allowed to have a defense, not allowed to even take in any money for a defense. He's not allowed to make an income, which is what I think has happened to me, is I'm being denied the ability to make an income. And then being labeled as the Canadian problem. You know, so it's and that's a tough one to try and understand unless you walk in their shoes. But the more that we see that the laws don't make any sense at all, the laws are actually designed to pollute every air you breathe. It's now illegal to eat food. You know, they're destroying every water that you drink. They're destroying the whole planet, and the timeline left for that is we only got a couple of years left. 2012 is the prediction that if you can really see the patterns of how long will it take to destroy a planet and what all needs to happen, we're on that track right now. And WikiLeaks is at least opening up the door for change. But the only way to stop this massive change, the only way to save all of ourselves, is to gain that information and to have this cyber war. And this cyber war is going on. The little people have uprised, and it's like all of us have to support this. Somebody made a comment about my suggestion to max out your credit cards, and the comment was that, well, that's fraud if you can't pay it back. And it's like, you ain't getting it yet. Every country is bankrupt right now. Whoever you owe money to, let's just say the United States is country one, you know, then there's Canada, country two. If every country had a number, everybody's borrowing from everybody else. So you all have this massive debt that every country owes. So there's going to be, okay, let's just say country 10 is the one that everybody owes money to. Okay, well, none of the countries can pay back their loans because they're all bankrupt. The one that owes all of the debt has no money, and he's desperate to get his, you know, you owe me money, you better pay up. And it's like, there is no money. You know, you have no money, I have no money, no country has any money, all of the money is gone. So we are bankrupt, and we've been trying to stop this. We've been bankrupt in the last depression. We used a lot of fake money from the last depression trying to stimulate the economy. And basically, there are little hints. There are people around that are saying it's going to take a completely different mindset to create a completely new system. I haven't seen a different mindset. You might want to study Mandelbrot set. That's a really interesting science to try and wrap your brain around. But that's patterns within patterns within patterns. And we are in the same pattern over and over and over again. It is the same insane Groundhog Day Mayan calendar shit that you will repeat this cycle over and over and over again until you can recognize the patterns. And from the patterns that I've seen from educating myself on every level of science and every system that's going on, when you gain this much knowledge of every system, which my life experience forced me to experience that in every way, shape, or form. I couldn't get away from it. It wasn't like I wanted to learn this shit. It was forced on me just so that I could survive. If I didn't find out answers to all of this, I would have crashed and burned. It was a matter of getting so many problems being forced on me that in order for me to solve a problem, I had to gain some information. So every time I'm trying to problem solve, the education that I needed to overcome the problem I was facing ended up giving me an education. And who'd have thought it would come out to be this much of an education, but it's pretty wild and blow your mind. So right now, the world is crashing and burning, and it is being done with cyber attacks. everything's going to crash. Everything's going to crash. Ultimately, the internet's going to be gone. And it's a matter of, can we use this internet to the best of our ability to gain the information that we need to gain? And once it does crash, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to lose your ability to communicate, because you know what? You're supposed to be communicating with people outside in the world that you can't communicate with right now. Soon, eventually, all of them will be like us. Most of them that are working right now, they're going to lose their minds because they haven't been on the internet as much as we have. They haven't been gaining the information. This is what's basically happened, is as soon as you put people on unemployment, as soon as you take away everybody's rights, what do? They get on the internet and do some research. What's the research about? All these documentaries, all of the history, all of, you're just soaking your brain up with trying to figure out as much as possible, especially with 9/11. You want to know the truth. We're in the stage of truth. So it's like, the more you want to create poverty, what does poverty do? Well, either poverty will go out on the street and get drunk and live in the pain, or you'll try and keep your mind and do as much research as possible. And that's basically where we're at right now, is a lot of people are doing an awful lot of information seeking and gaining some answers. But you have to participate in the crashing of the system, because if you don't, then you are crashing your whole world. It is designed to poison and kill you, and you can't see that yet. And the best thing you possibly could do is crash the system. Everything that's wrong needs to go. Everybody that's working right now is in a job that doesn't work right for you. Anybody that is unemployed right now, it's like, what are you talented about? What do you love doing? In a magical world, what would you love to be doing? And if you can focus on what it is that you love doing, if you can find a way to listen to your intuition, find a way to find more about yourself, those are the new jobs that need to come out. And it's not going to be done through money, through gold, silver. Gold and silver is the biggest con going. It's like, hang on to your gold, see if I'll work for that one. And that was a really interesting conversation I had with some guy that's trying to get me to buy gold and silver. He's saying it's available free. It just costs this much money. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, I don't have that much money, so it's not exactly free, because only you can afford it, not me. And he says, oh, you could go to work. Just go on my website and do the work. And it's like, you want me to work your way and not the way that I know I should be working. And I know I'm skilled at things that I can work. Right now, like when you understand your illnesses, which illnesses are nothing more than a sign that you're in the wrong direction. It's your stop sign that says, wrong way. So I am dealing with some medical issues. Joints are completely deteriorated, hypersensitive, which helps me to tell the difference between right and wrong. And a lot of people will say, oh, just toughen up. And it's like, as soon as somebody tells you to toughen up, that's basically what they're saying is, we don't want you to pay attention to everything that's right. You got to be toughen up and do everything wrong and get really, really good at doing everything wrong. And it's like, I ain't going down that path anymore. And I can tell right away when something is wrong. And you really got to know when it's wrong, whether it's you or whether it's society. You really have to check yourself. You really have to see, are you insane or is the world insane? So it's a constant check. Is it them or is it you? Is it them, is it you? And you have to see where your thoughts come from. You have to see what rules you have for yourself. And you have to see, okay, if I have that rule all the time, then how would my life play out? And I mean, if I was to say all fathers are deadbeats and bad people, then I would perceive every single male to be a bad person. And it's like, is that really true? And no, it's not. That's just, there's a cause. I've had to understand what their position is, and I fully understand their position. The point is that you need a peace table. To end this, help crash the system as much as possible, and don't be fearful. when the internet dies, be friends with your neighbor. You know, show some compassion and understanding for where they're coming from. They're going to lose their mind, and they're going to need some sanity, so you are the next matrix that's going to support them. Help somebody else out. Let somebody tell their story, but tell them that, you know, are you going to tell your story for 50 years? Because where will that get you? That won't get you too far. Make your story real short, and then say, what are you going to do about it? Because there's always something else you can do about it. Don't focus on everything bad. Get into the game of everything good, because good is coming. Peace out.